Dear students, today we will start with our discussion on the new text that you have for your studies, and that is none other than one of the most important works in English literature, Paradise Lost. We all know what is an epic. There are traditional epics which are very famous across different cultures. We have in India Mahabharata, Ramayana. We have in Europe the Greek classics, Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, and then Virgil's Aeneid. But these are what we call as traditional epics. When we come to the discussion of this genre of epics, we have another category of what is called as literary epic. Now, what is this literary epic? Literary epic is a deliberate effort made by some writer to copy the style of the traditional epics and create a new epic poem, a long, extremely long narrative poem running into many thousand lines by following some conventions that have been used by classical poets to write who wrote epics long back in the historical times. Paradise Lost is an example for literary epic. It is a created epic ascribed to the writer John Milton, an English poet. He lived in the times which were strangely politicized, and this politics was reigned by religious philosophies. So to understand the epic Paradise Lost, we have to understand the background of the poet as well. What were the times in which John Milton was living? What inspired him to take a particular subject for his epic? Why he included a lot of political aspects in his epics? So to understand all these things, we need to understand the time and context in which John Milton was living in English society. I will not speak everything about John Milton because biographical information is easily available on the internet, but I would like to focus on certain important aspects of John Milton's life which may be related to the text that we are going to study. So he lived during the 17th century, born in 1608, died in 1674. He is known as the great blind poet, a puritanistic poet. Well, he was not just a scholar in English. There is a lot of difference between John Milton and William Shakespeare. While William Shakespeare did not get much of his higher education, John Milton was a complete scholar. He had his master's degree, MA, and then he was also a scholar not just in English but Latin, Greek, Italian, Hebrew, French, Syriac, and Spanish. The knowledge of all these languages of Europe gave him a sound knowledge about the cultural backgrounds of these languages. Especially the knowledge of Greek and Latin and Hebrew gave him a deep knowledge about Christian philosophies as well as the long lasting ancient epic tradition of Greece, of Greek literature. This is how the scholarship of John Milton, not just in one subject but in many other languages and many other cultures as well, is a very strong point for John Milton in writing this epic of a large scale. He lived in the times of political turmoil. You see, he lived in a very strange period. You hear of this incident that happened in 1642, closure of all the theatres in England. Why was this happening in England? Why did this happen? This is because there was a moral degradation in the society, in the people of England, and a religious upheaval, or rather revolution, was required during those times. It is during these years that we see a lot of kings changing in English, on English throne. We have the rulers like Oliver Cromwell, who managed the government, Charles I, who escaped to France, and all such other political incidents which were very crucial for England during those times. Because he was living in these times of political turmoil, he was absolutely aware of his political situation, his country's political situation. Further, he considered it very important for himself that he should be a scholar in as many subjects as possible. So he is not just, one-headed man, he is like a 10-headed man. So he had his extensive reading not just in one subject but also in subjects other than English literature or Greek literature, such as theology, philosophy, history, politics, literature, and even science. And he felt that for a poet to be great, it is not just important to be impulsive or expressive emotionally, it is also equally important to be aware of the knowledge around him. He wanted to be a poet right since his youth days, and he felt it necessary to have the knowledge of all these subjects to build a very strong poetical career. In the year 1638, he went on a tour to France and later to Italy, and this tour gave him and enriched his experiences and his knowledge. There in Italy and in France, he met several other writers and authors. He tried to understand the artistic traditions of French people as well as Italian people. Thereby, he had a sound understanding of not just England but of Europe as well, in general, Europe as well. In the year 1652, John Milton unfortunately became totally a blind person, and he has written a sonnet on his, it is titled as On His Blindness, but it was originally written as When I Consider How My Light Is Spent. The word light here is symbolic of both light in eyesight as well as life in general. He had published his first poem entitled On Shakespeare in 1630. His first poem entitled On Shakespeare, which was published in 1630. And Some of his important works, I will just list them down. Of course, Paradise Lost, which is considered as his magnum opus, the most important text written by him. And then he also wrote Paradise Regained. He has written a poem Lycidas, Samson Agonistes, Areopagitica, L'Allegro, Il Penseroso, and a masque named as Comus. Apart from poetry, he has also written a lot of political essays. He wrote political essays in order to bring some reformation in his society through religious thoughts, Christian ideologies. He was a believer in Catholicism in his earlier times, and later he also came to believe in the principles of Protestantism. His influence as a poet and as well as a scholar is greatly felt on the 18th century Enlightenment writers. So, writers, many poets who came in the 18th century and in the 19th century eventually considered Milton as a great influence on their writings. Another important contribution of John Milton to the field of English literature is the form of blank verse. It is not that he invented this form, but he used it so extensively that it is almost like John Milton is considered as the pioneer of this form. I don't say that he invented the form, but he used it so extensively that we associate the name of blank verse poetry to John Milton. Here you need not be confused with the words blank verse and free verse. Free verse is different, blank verse is different. Blank verse is almost similar to the heroic couplet but without rhyming patterns. Further, and even this poem, Paradise Lost, is written in blank verse. Some of his important prose works include essays like Of Reformation, Of Practical Episcopacy, Doctrine and Discipline of Divorce, Of Education. Areopagitica is one of his most famous essays, and then Of True Religion, and many more other political as well as religious and Enlightenment writings of John Milton. This is how I have given a very brief introduction to John Milton as a writer, as a poet, not just as a poet or writer, but as well as a scholar of so many languages. Further, when we read about the text, we will understand more in depth about the writing skills of John Milton. Coming to the discussion of this book or this epic, of course, we have got to study only book 1 of this epic, Paradise Lost. But before we do that, we need to understand something about this text. So I will just brief about this text in the beginning, and later we shall go into the discussion of book number 1 in detail. So, Paradise Lost is an example of literary epic, as I have already said in the beginning. It has copied some of the conventions of older epics, ancient epics. What are the conventions? Epic is always a long narrative story, usually having a hero and a villain. The hero's acts decide the fate of a whole generation or a whole culture. It includes supernatural elements. It usually includes a war between two strong forces. So these are some of the epic conventions which have been used by even the people like John Milton who wrote literary epics. So it is an example of a literary epic. Further, it is written in blank verse. The first edition of this epic, and one interesting thing is he composed this epic when he went blind, totally blind. It was not composed before he lost his eyesight. In fact, he felt that the blindness, the external blindness, has given him an inward vision through which he was able to compose this great epic based on a biblical story of Genesis. So, this whole epic was composed by John Milton in his blindness itself. He used to dictate and someone would write for him. So, this is how the epic was written. So, this epic, its first version was published in 1667 with 10 books. Now, what is this concept of 10 books? In epics, we usually have subdivisions called as books, or in some contexts, it is known as cantos. Because the whole story cannot be a long continuous story, you have to break it in some parts so as to make it more and more interesting and worthy to read. So he came up with 10 books in 1667, which is called as the first edition of Paradise Lost. The second version, which we call as the final version, was published in 1674, and this included 2 more books, making it a total of 12 books in a series. All these 12 books together make one epic called the Paradise Lost or Paradise Lost. What is its story matter? What kind of war does it include? Who is the hero? Who is the villain? So the things will be clear when we read book 1, but I will just brief about it. This story is about Genesis in the Bible. As I said earlier, he was a true believer in Christian ideologies. Therefore, he thought it apt to use the subject of Bible, story from the Bible, especially the chapter called Genesis, as subject matter in his epic. This story is about the fall of man from heaven or from paradise. It is the story of creation of humans on the earth, the original sin, the apple tree in the Garden of Eden, eating of the fruit of knowledge, Satan's temptation to Eve eating the apple, Adam following her and thereby committing the first sin against God, and how God punishes them with death in the human world, and later this punishment can be resurrected when Jesus is born again as the Son of God. So this is the matter that is presented in the story of the Bible. John Milton chooses this subject for his epic Paradise Lost. It is not a war like that between Ram and Ravan as in Ramayana. It is not a battle with arrows, bows or swords or atom bombs. It is a war of ideologies. It is a war, an indirect war between Satan and God's principles. What is the purpose with which he has written this book? Interestingly, he follows another epic tradition in which, in the first book itself, he declares the purpose of this book. He says, the purpose of this book is to justify the ways of God to man. In the first 26 lines of book 1, we have a lot of things like we have invocation, which is again an epic tradition, epic convention, and then the author, John Milton, the poet, he makes it very clear why is he writing the book, who has inspired him to write the book. So the purpose of this epic is to justify the ways of God to men. Another important epic tradition that he uses is in medias res. That is, the story begins somewhere in the middle and then the past story is recounted, even the future story is told in the epic later on. So this is another epic convention which has been used by John Milton in Paradise Lost. So it has lots of descriptions about God, angels, good angels, bad angels or evil angels who are defeated by God and have fallen into hell. Then the creation of earth, the paradise, creation of first human pair, Adam and Eve. So all these descriptions are given, and another important villainous character is Satan. He is in fact the villain of the whole story, Satan. He is none other than Lucifer, who was also an angel in the empire of God in the heaven. So there is also political undertone here. It is not just a religious story, but it is also the story of how people struggle for power, how Satan fights against God to establish his own power in the heaven. Of course, I will discuss about this in the next class elaborately, but I just wanted to give you this brief introduction about the book Paradise Lost. Then it has the story of angelic war in heaven, then the temptation. Some of the important characters are God, Satan, Adam, Eve, God the Son, God the Father, Moloch, Belial, Beelzebub, Mammon, Mulciber, and so many other fallen angels. One speciality of this epic is that each book, out of the 12 books, each of the book contains an argument in the beginning. In brief, he is telling what is the subject matter of book 1, what is the subject matter of book 2, and likewise he gives in brief through a part called argument, which is there in the beginning of every book of this epic. Another important element that he uses in Paradise Lost is allegorical descriptions or allegory, which has been used frequently in Paradise Lost by John Milton. I have thus given you some brief details, of course not in detail. In very brief, I have given you certain important factors or facts related to the book Paradise Lost. In the next lecture, we will shift our discussion on the story of this epic Paradise Lost, and then we will enter into the text of book number 1. Keep these things in your mind. The text of the whole book Paradise Lost is available online. you can always read the text which is easily written in blank verse. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you so much.